Hello everyone. In this video, we will explore the concept of Kubernetes pods. We will be running some examples with different configurations for a pod. The prerequisite for this video is you should have Kubernetes cluster configured, kubectl command line tool should be configured, and you can clone this Git repo for all the YAML files which I will be using in this blog. So there is a folder called pods in this Git repo where you can see all the YAML files which I will be using. So let's get started. We will be creating a simple pod. We will cover the concept of namespaces and try to create a pod in different namespaces. We will create a pod running a container and also it is exposing a port. We'll create a pod with different resource requirements. Like I need my pod or my container should have this much of memory and the CPU assigned. And we will also see if we put more memory which is not available in our cluster, then what error we will be receiving. And at last, we will be creating a pod with multiple containers. So first, what is a pod? Pod is a basic building block of Kubernetes and it's a basic unit of deployment. In a pod, you can have any number of containers, and all containers in a pod shared volumes, Linux namespaces, and C groups. Each pod got a unique IP addresses and the port space is shared by all the containers in the pod. What does that mean? That different containers inside a pod can communicate with each other using their corresponding ports on localhost. So let's see how it works. So first we will be creating a pod with a single container. So this is a very simple YAML file that we will be using, and it is just creating a container using Nginx image. So let's just run this command. So I already have my cluster configured, like I can do kubectl get nodes and you should be able to see 3 nodes which are running in my cluster and I am using Google Cloud. So first we will be creating this pod. Okay, because I'm not on the correct path, so let me just run it from here. Okay. So it says that it has created a pod and we can see the pods like this. It's still showing container is creating because it will take some seconds to get completed. Okay, so now it's showing that it is in running states. We can also check the IP of your pod, like each Kubernetes pods got their IP. It is an internal Kubernetes IP which get assigned. And it will change when the pods will restart or you'll recreate it again, the new IP will get come. Okay, so now we will do the describe command to just see what is in our pod. So describe pod and this is our pod 1 name. Okay, so here you can see the thing which I want, the name and the namespace. So here you can see that by default it is created in the default namespace and this is the name. So the name in the Kubernetes pods is a unique. Like you cannot create the same YAML file or you cannot run the same YAML file with the same pod name. It will fail with the error that pod name is already exist. So this is a unique. You can see a unique ID. And we have seen that it has created in the default namespace. So Kubernetes supports namespaces to create multiple virtual clusters within the same physical cluster. So first thing, why do we use namespace? What is the use of namespace? So you can say that we have only one cluster and different teams are using it. So we do not want to create a problem if everybody is using the same namespace. So it's good that if every team create their own resources in their own namespace. So that is one reason that we should use the different namespace. And also, if we want to segregate the environments, like we have dev, stage, and we have only one cluster. So it's good practice that everything gets created in a different namespaces. So now we will create a pod in different namespace. Before that, we'll just see how many namespaces by default we have available in our cluster. So you can run this command kubectl get namespace. So you can see that default is there, and these are some Kubernetes namespaces that comes when you create a cluster. So now we will be running the same YAML file, but we will be using the namespace kubepublic, and it should be able to create with the same name. So let's just run it. Okay, so just run this command and you can see that it has created this. But if I do, because I have used the different namespace, that's why it was able to create a pod with the same name. So if I do get pods, you will see that one pod is there. But if I do kubectl get pod hyphen hyphen namespace, and what was the namespace? Cube hyphen public. Then you can see that I can see one pod also. But I need to define the namespace because this pod I have created in the different namespace. Okay, so now the same thing, like right now I have used the command line utility to pass the namespace. You can do the same thing in the YAML file also. So for that, I have again created a different YAML file. And here you can see that I have provided the namespace as a queue public. And if I'll run this, then it should be able to create a pod. So let me just run this. So here you can see that I am getting that error that pod 1 already exists because I am trying to create a pod with the same name. So I need to change the name of the pod. So let me just pod namespace. Let me just put like that and just run the same command again. So you can see now I am able to create a pod using YAML file, and I can just do it and you should be able to see the two pods. Now for every command, I need to provide the namespace. So how we can change the default namespace? Because like if I'm in a development team and I'm using in suppose dev namespace, then I do not want to run the kubectl commands again and again and by passing the namespace, right? So we can set or we can change our default namespace to the current one whichever we are using. So for that, you can run this command kubectl config set context and current and namespace is kube-public. You can use anyone whichever you are doing it. So now let me just set this. So now you can see that it has configured. And now if I do the kubectl get pod, you can see that I can see pods which are present in kube-public namespace. So this is how you can actually change your default namespace. Now we will create a pod which will run a container. So in this YAML file, I can show it here. I'm creating a containers and I'm using the Ubuntu image and I'm running some command so that I can show you how the logs will get updated. So let's just run this container. So let me just run this kubectl create hyphen f, and my file name is pod hyphen running container. So you can see here that it has created the pods now. Command pod, this is my container, this is my pod name it has created. So Now I can check the logs using kubectl logs and your pod name command hyphen pod. And you can use the hyphen f flag so that you can see the real time logs. So here you can see that dots are keeps updating because I have used this commands that echoing the dot every 5 seconds. So you'll see these things. So this is how you can check the logs and you can use the hyphen F flag for the real-time logs. Okay. Now we will create a pod which will expose the port. So we will be creating a Nginx, we will be using a Nginx image that will run a container and we'll expose it on port 80. So here you can see that this is the container port and it is exposing here. So let's just run this command now. Okay, so this pod is created now and you can see it using kubectl get pods that it is running pod exposed port. And now if we want to access it, we can use the port forward so that we can access it on the browser. So you can use this command kubectl port forward and your pod name and the port on which it is listening. And you can also use the second command if you want to use different ports and configure it to run on the different port like this. So let me just run this. Okay. Now if I'll do the local host on my browser, I should be able to navigate. So you can see that I'm able to navigate to the Nginx. So this is how you can create a pod which is exposing a container on a certain port and you can try to access it on the browser using port forward. Now we will create a pod with some resource requirements. Like we will be defining our container should get this much of memory and this is the maximum memory. And if the container try to allocate more than this, then you will be seeing the error like OOM killed error. And we will be defining the CPU requirements like we need minimum CPU of zero point 0.5 and the maximum CPU as 1. So this is how in the YAML file you can provide this configuration. So we are using the same Nginx image and in this we have defined resources. This is our limit and this is our request. So let's just run this now. So we can cancel this one and now just run this. Okay, so now let me just describe this so that we can validate. Describe pod hyphen resources. So here you can see that in the limit CPU and here you can see the CPU and the memory. So this is how you can define how much a container should get the memory. Otherwise, it will just take the default one according to the Kubernetes configurations internally, but you can define how much memory your container should get. Now we will try to create a pod and we'll try to provide that much of memory that is not available, like the huge memory. Here you can see the example. I'm using 128 GB. I mean, this is not available in my existing nodes. So for that, what will happen? So just run this command now. So this is the YAML file and this is now we can do this kubectl describe pod and this is my pod name pod hyphen huge resources. And here you can see that you will be seeing this error failed scheduling insufficient memory. You can see that. And if I'll do this kubectl get pods, then you can see that it is still in pending state because it was not able to get that memory. So it is in some pending state and after some time it will get deleted. Okay, so now we will create a pod with multiple containers. running inside it. So now we have put like container one is the Nginx and our second container is Ubuntu. So let's just run this command now and we'll see what happens. Okay. And now you can run this command to describe it because now in one pod you have two containers and you can see these details containers. This is our container one. It is still creating and this is our container two. Now how you can check the logs. So if your pod has multiple containers and you want to check a logs from a particular container, then you can use kubectl logs and like this you can provide your pod name and your container name. So here you can see that dot dot because it is coming from Ubuntu. And if I use container one, then you will see something like that. Okay. Okay, so these are the some examples of creating a pod with different configurations. And we have some cycles, I mean, life cycle of the pods, like it goes in the pending state when pod has submitted to the cluster, but container is not created yet. Maybe it is downloading the images or waiting for the pods. There are a lot of reasons. The second is the running, so that whenever it is all okay, no issues, then it would be in the running state. Succeeded, that pod has run and all of its containers have terminated with success. Failed, pod has run and at least any kind of issues, one of the containers has terminated, so that it will be in failed state. Unknown, when the state of the pod could not find, or it could be because of the inability of the container controller to connect with the nodes that the pod was assigned to. So these are some states of your pods that they can go. Okay, in the next video, I will be explaining about the health check of the pods using liveliness or the readiness tags resources, how we can do that. Thank you.